Hello and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Ekeminidim. I'm a legal practitioner and I'm always glad to know that you're there keeping me company. This is a continuation of the series on fundamental rights. Remember, I did say that I'm going to do videos on all the fundamental rights available in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I started with the fundamental rights to life, which is in section 33 of the Constitution, followed with the fundamental rights to dignity of the human person, which is in section 34 of the Constitution. I am in the third fundamental right provision, which is the right to personal liberty, as contained in section 35 of the same Constitution. Now, if you look at the right to personal liberty, one word that deserves to be underlined is liberty. And what does liberty mean? Because that defines the discussion on this right. What does liberty mean? Now, this takes us to the Constitution. Let us look at the dictionary meaning of liberty, after which we'll add the legal interpretation to this. So let's go to the dictionary. We have it displayed. Please display it on the screen so that we can see it together and then have an understanding of what the dictionary even says about the word liberty. So as you can see displayed on the screen, the word liberty is a noun, which means the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. You've seen clearly what the dictionary says is the meaning of liberty. I should not be unduly restricted. My views, my decision to move from one place to another, my expression and so on should not be restricted ordinarily in society. So everybody has that right to personal liberty, and that personal liberty should not be taken away by another member of society, by security agents, by agents of government, or by anybody without doing violence to the provisions of the Constitution. But let us look at what the language of the Constitution is on this right, because there are many exceptions to this right. There are instances where the law allows that the liberty of the citizen should be curtailed, should be restricted. So let's look at the provisions of the Constitution on these very rights, in particular the provision of section 35, which I have displayed on the screen there for you to see, and so that we can follow the conversation. Section 35 sub 1 says, every person shall be entitled to his personal liberty, and no one shall be deprived of such liberty, save in the following cases, and in accordance with procedure permitted by law. So the Constitution goes on to state the instances where the personal liberty of a Nigerian citizen is going to be restricted. You can see on the screen already that the Constitution says every person shall be entitled to his personal liberty, and no person shall be deprived of such liberty. But the Constitution goes ahead to give the exceptions, instances where the liberty can be restricted. So it says in 35 sub 1 sub A, it says that personal liberty can be restricted in execution of the sentence or order of a court in respect of a criminal offense of which the person has been found guilty. So a person that has been found guilty of offending a law, his personal liberty can be restricted to execute the sentence of the law against him. Number B, by reason of his failure to comply with the order of court. So the court has made an order for someone to comply, and the person refuses to comply with that order, the person's right to personal liberty can be restricted to make him respect or to make him comply with the order of the court. C, for purpose of bringing him before a court in execution of the order of a court upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed a criminal offense. So what that simply means that though every Nigerian citizen has the right to personal liberty, the right for the personal liberty not to be curtailed, but the person's fundamental right to personal liberty can be curtailed for purpose of bringing him before a court of law in execution of the order of a court or upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed a criminal offense. Number D, A person's fundamental right to personal liberty can also be restricted in the case of a person who has not attained the age of 18 years for purpose of his education or welfare. So we talk about compulsory education, free and compulsory education. And so if government should compel someone to go to school for his own well-being, that person's fundamental right to personal liberty is not curtailed, is not offended, is not breached in the circumstance. E. In the case of persons suffering from infections or contagious disease, persons of unsound mind, persons addicted to drugs or alcohol or vagrants for the purpose of their care or treatment or the protection of the community. So the explanation here is that in the case of a mentally retarded person or in the case of a drug addict, in the case of someone suffering from an infectious disease, the law would allow that the person's personal liberty is curtailed for the purpose of treating him, and that curtailment will not be seen to be an infringement of his fundamental right to personal liberty. F. For the purpose of preventing the unlawful entry of any person into Nigeria or of effecting the expulsion, extradition, or other lawful removal from Nigeria of any person or the taking of proceedings relating thereto. So that the explanation there is that though every person has the right to personal liberty, but a person's personal liberty can be restricted for purpose of preventing the person from unlawfully entering into Nigeria or for purpose of extraditing the person. So the person's fundamental right to personal liberty is allowed in that circumstance to be curtailed, for purpose of execution of this lawful order. Okay, so as you saw displayed on the screen there, you have seen the instances where fundamental rights to personal liberty would be curtailed lawfully without breaching the constitutional rights of that person. And so everyone has fundamental rights to personal liberty, but there are exceptions, which are the exceptions I have displayed on the screen for all of you to see and then follow my explanation in addition to that. Now, also part of the rights to personal liberty is the fact that any person that is arrested on reasonable suspicion of a commission of an offense, by section 35 sub 4 of the Constitution, every such person is entitled to be informed of the offense that he has committed in the language that he understands, and that should be done within 24 hours of his arrest. Now, also part of these rights to personal liberty is the fact that every person that is arrested upon reasonable commission of an offense must be arraigned in a court of law of competent jurisdiction within 24 hours or within 48 hours if there are no courts of competent jurisdiction within a certain radius, 40 kilometers. And so that is when someone is allowed to be kept in custody for up to 48 hours. Anything outside that, if there are courts of competent jurisdiction within jurisdiction, that person whose personal liberty has been curtailed must be arraigned in a court of law of competent jurisdiction within 24 hours, but not more than 48 hours. So these are the rights that have been clearly added to the fundamental rights to dignity of the human person, and no one is allowed to infringe upon these rights without an infringement of the provisions of the Constitution. And therefore, for instance, if someone is kept in police custody beyond 24 hours, the person is entitled to compensation, still part of the provision of these very fundamental rights in section 35, the right to personal liberty. So it is in this section that the law says that anybody whose fundamental right is breached, anybody who is unlawfully kept in custody beyond 24 hours is entitled to be paid compensation and also entitled to public apology by the persons that detained him beyond the 24 hours. Anybody whose fundamental right to personal liberty is infringed upon in any way is entitled to compensation. So these are the issues embedded in the fundamental right to personal liberty, which is the third in fundamental rights provisions under the 1999 Constitution. So if you're a policeman working in Nigeria you're expected to, if you arrest, you should only arrest on reasonable suspicion of commission of an offense. Once that is done, arraign the person in the court of law, grant him bail within 24 hours. If you keep him beyond 24 hours, if you keep him beyond 48 hours at most, that means that you have offended the fundamental right of that person, and the person can rightly maintain an action against you in a court of law of competent jurisdiction. And when there is a pronouncement that has been made against you, the next thing is for damages to be awarded against you or awarded against your institution, and that sometimes comes in huge sums, mostly in millions of naira. I do hope we have learned one or two things about this very provision of the Constitution on fundamental rights. I do hope I have awoken your consciousness to the fact that you have that right to dignity, to personal liberty. I do also hope I have been able to inform you that if you infringed upon the right to personal liberty of your neighbor or of any citizen of Nigeria, if you're a member of the security agency, then you have fallen on the wrong side of the law. And when you fall on the wrong side of the law, the consequences most times are usually dire. I do hope you continue to watch this channel. Thank you for watching this much. Continue to watch this channel so that from time to time we can continue to learn together on the basic principles of law. I remain your friend. I remain your lawyer. I remain your host on this channel. Ekemini is my name. Thank you very much for keeping me company.